Hello, here's my small microphone again. Obviously, not sure. I didn't mean my voice being that deep. Hello. Oh my god. Hello. When I speak, everybody pisses in their pants. and it's like, one of those things is the higher power, and you like somebody's thinking like they thought about it, that somebody has pissed in their life, and then they keep thinking it as if that in their higher powers that they'll probably piss in their pants, because I definitely feel like that's how they act like it. Most men I come across, they look like it just about at the same time. I could probably pick them up by ears and smash their head and split open, and they probably wouldn't be able to even do anything about it. And so, wait. My pillows, I don't want to drop on the floor. I'm like, they're so white. And it's like, what is it happening behind this chair? I don't want it on the floor. So yeah, like obviously my computer didn't get fixed over the night. What happened with this? Come on. Green light. I cannot tell if it works. It's ridiculous how I'm reacting. I cannot tell if it works. But anyhow, I said yesterday, Victoria's Secret. No, not Victoria's Secret. Yes, they did. Were using these small microphones. And I'm like, oh my god, it is so small. It's not convincing that that's working. Wait, what time is it? Is it too early? No idea. My yesterday's video, like, failed uploading them. And, at the same time, I guess it could be any reasons, but it's like really waste of time and basically running into it like a damaged time and inconvenience. So, like, about that SSA trip, they have many names, people call them. I don't know, basically gift holidays. They have many different names they refer to it, but so I made a video, like I don't know what to title it. Also the fact that I don't have a video editors or basically any types of design, so I was just like using the phone, and my hair needs to be dyed, so I also obviously look not the best as I should look, but like bunch of makeup on my face and stuff, but the hair is not dyed, but it's common. It's a common issues people run into, but come on, go green. But most of high standard people usually have routines that takes like lots of it time. Like you're gonna have to regardless what your routine is, get your nails done and get your facial done, sort of stuff like that, or your massaging done, or whatever it is. That if you look at all the stuff you have to do to meet the standards, it's time consuming. But I dye my own hair, and sucks to say, and that I gotta do it often, and basically I have been neglecting that, and so that's absolutely crazy because ow, I itch my rib. Ow, that hurts so badly. It just feels like crush, any types of crush, really. Ow. I'm not sure how the hell I would have itched that. And basically, I'm a massive dad. In the many aspects of it, like it's a difficult, a lot of these aspects of it. If you basically take airplane, could you crush airplane? Yes, you could crush airplane, but in a way, many ways of it, it has like capabilities of a lot of power, right? And so like I feel like that no, come on, why does it keep doing that? Oh, I need something plugged there. It's not working. Oh, I don't want to stop in there. Oh, that's what, I'm not sure if this needs charging. Oh, no, something falls on the floor. It just not keeping me in. Let me plug. this plug there. Will it now? Will it work now? It was fake. If it works at all, nobody knows. Oh my god, no! But it needed to be plugged. But nobody guaranteed if it does work. Either way, laughing my butt off. And so, like I said, like, I'm like, ow, really easy to laugh my butt off, even when I'm in a pain. At the same time, I'll try, but then I'll go back whining in a pain and then screaming. And then, it's like, um, but then, symptoms will happen. I've had the symptoms. Yeah, it's like, the symptoms with, like, they're deadly symptoms. I guess people don't know what you call it, but they're deadly symptoms. And then it's like, there's still like times between where it's like randomly, I'll think 1 minute I'm like dying, next minute I'm like laughing. But if I was laughing, is it too early? Because I feel like I need to get up like 4 o'clock. I feel like I need to get up at like 4 o'clock. So if it's not 4 o'clock, I doubt it's too early, but it's like it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then, I'll save time quickly and it just day gets ended permanently. That's what bad news is. So basically that not good idea to use the what happens like us thinking doing is what humans basically um tool is, and basically then perhaps if we're creative and using that humans brain um and their time and everything on earth, they will be able to use um basically components in their brain or something, um and basically use things that they can think of like change or start. And it's just easier like using acts and doing things like that for their survival and basically doing, because there's no such a thing that makes sense human beings not doing. And like myself, there's no such a thing as that makes sense. There's several people who have told me they will ended up killing themselves at the same time if they were me. Okay. And so basically, in my opinion, they should sit in there kill themselves. And so they don't need to tell me that like I care about it or something like that, honestly. Okay. But so basically it's not important for any human beings to basically I don't know if my gray hair is like sticking out or something like that. I kind of sort of see it, but my hair is like messy. Like concentrate on my face and leave that gray hair alone and so on. So basically, social security, the video yesterday, so things are emergency, things are urgent, and social security office, I was sitting in there, and my adopted father told me he'll take me there. It's almost on a demand to basically figure out the social security, how they fix their problems. But basically, so I didn't believe it. You can fix it, or otherwise I would have asked them to get me right there. But he will always say no. So basically, I didn't ask them because I had no um belief that they will end up fixing anything. I have a belief I own them my money. I'm in a debt at the same time, and I don't know what's going on. Oh my god, I'm suspended from my account at the same time. Am I trouble? what is going on really, what else they're gonna give me. And I've been very impatient because as like social security has given like on count, they have given a letter for it the 2022 that I wasn't eligible for social security, that I'm like, oh my god, whole year I own them my money. Now the reality is that so why I didn't believe it that I would be able to fix this. But so if I asked him for the right answer would have been like um so I don't want to swear, but answer would have been obviously a no, but really long no. Like there'll be like obviously verbal abuse and basically whining at me, like harassing me and stuff. And instead of being like, oh my god, like my life is on a thread or something, and oh my god, how am I gonna do this? Like, for example, he is a victim and stuff like that. But no, I mean, he's always like that. The thing is that yeah, I'm not sure if I could call him. Oh yeah, I'm gonna again videos. I'm obviously not having design. I don't have any types of video design or anything like that. It's such a desperate videos. Like I need to set it in there, tell people. I need to tell it at the same time. And I think I've been called psychophonic, like for example, and I think my kid as well. But the regardless, Americans are really creative, like Putin says, and then I think that to elaborate on a Putin, like okay, they're really creative, explosive at the same time. Their own language, they have supposedly in history adopted that they don't know how to use it. And basically, sexually exposed females, they put their pussy everywhere. And then basically, they are relationships failures. There are morals withdrawals. I mean, you name it. I'm like, yeah, America is a super creative, and I want to elaborate on a Putin, but Americans are so creative. Okay, that should be stated. That everybody on YouTube, I really do like you guys, and so basically, but just saying, regardless if I don't know you guys, I sure do like you through the YouTube, and basically that I'm just saying that like people who I don't like it obviously gives me such a bad choices on basically my vocabulary. Like, what time is this? Too early or something? How can I find out time? Oh, 9:51. 9:51. So, have I been talking to you 15 minutes? 50? No, 13 minutes. And just trying to figure out, make sure things make sense for me on a time. Okay. Um, and like when I don't like people, and basically that that's a lot of people. Some are based on it, like they said, basically, like some are based on it like fact that they have raped female. Some are based on the fact landlords who abuse victims. Some are based on it the police who abuse through misconduct individuals. Some are related to it. Basically, a husband or spouse or whatever who abuses them. Somebody, some are mother who abuses them, their children, and obviously there could be abuse in the children. They could be terms of it where they also are very sneaky. There's many different types of people that I just don't like it as well. But like they say in that we have like imaginations. We have like we pick it like as if you post the history, right? Which is pretty bad. It's not good practicing it, but basically in America becomes handy because there are so many people who are messed up and psychologically basically abnormal, and they have severe disorders mentally, like inappropriately, I would say in them. But they also have, I would say, in it should not be retarded lack in any knowledge or English, that they also have like behaviors perverted, finger around somebody's, pussy. And then excuse my French, and they're predators, and then they are basically have anger, hostility towards somebody, but they also have it like some of them think they have a proper way of it, like not causing any problems. I'm not sure if this microphone works. Like I needed something really loud. Um, they are have like problems with it. I don't have computers. Like my computer, I had to put in a FedEx yesterday. Again, I really want a big microphone. I really do. Like I feel like I'm making a wish like a little kid for the Santa or something. I wanted like the big microphone I saw yesterday at my son's place, and it's actually I'm like it's easy. You just plug in a wall and you have like big microphone. So I want something like that. I'm talking to something I really hate at the same time, and then people going around and be like, actually, rather than other people, I'll get it with them. So I made a promise to myself, I'll deal with them at the same time, face to face. My adopted father, he's like, you talk a lot. You need to shut up. And I'm like, I haven't even seen you, and I don't see you at the same time. So how do you know that I talk a lot? I have not seen you. I actually said it to myself in my head quietly, silently. And I don't say anything. He just acts like it's so crazy. Um, so I was thinking about that. Well, I'm like, I don't chill with him. I don't really sit in there at the same time and basically spend any time with him. I don't see him at the same time. There are maybe two taxes a year, something basically related to issues that he has created. And I'm sure he has partners as well, but basically, and it's just like very big issues, and it's a repeatedly issues that are so big and basically so damaging, for example, for my life, and basically that usually not easy fix on them as well. Okay. So he does sit in there and stated it, either abuses me basically with obviously some types of conduct, but and including verbally, there are all different parts like verbally, vocabulary, and 10. Then you have basically the he also microphone that he has. I said, oh my god, I want it, and he's like, oh, you don't need it, abusive tone. And I'm like, yes, I want it for podcasting. And he's like, you don't have anything to say, abusive tone again. And on excuse me, not as dominant as that, more like you don't have anything to say. I mean, it's also like deceptive tones, and I'm like gives me shivers in my spine, and I'm like I'm old. I'm going on age 35 at the same time. And he's like, you told me the billion times, shut up. Okay, additional deceptive freaking tones. So he's like also not respecting me for my age at the same time. And in age 35, he's older than that. He's 39 years older than me. But you should respect the therapy told me that somebody when you're 18, and they should set in their respect at the same time all the basically adult stuff that you should be able to do, but basically like everybody enact you should be respected about that. But I'm like, you should be respected as a child as well. So it's like really like problems that they can sit in there and get rid of for me. So it's like really sucks at the same time. And basically they can delete it any problems. It's like if this problem exists, you have that problem and stuff like that. And so the therapy sucks like that. And currently I'm not seeing one, but that's also like story is that my therapist had left, and then thinking that I was afraid of the SSI that papers that she did that she needed to work on that, and I ran away from her basic therapy. Then when the papers come from SSI, I contacted her, and she's basically 2 years have not been working with me, so she has to suggest me different therapists. But she told me that but they didn't contacted me yet. But there's also another worker there, like consul or something. I don't know, his job is like broad, it has like other titles, but it's also he does also work with SSI and a lot of other stuff. So it's also another option for paperwork. It's also not that far away from where I'm located, and it's actually handy, and he's also able to go people's homes. So um my situation is driving the fact that I don't, but basically, but other people's it could be both driving, gas money problems with they getting around and extra money to get around, but it could be like they live not as close as me, so and combinations of it, like if they suffer from pain or things, and you can't really basically be like as active, and also it's a nightmare to think about it at the same time to be in a pain and that you cannot get around. So it's like different patients with the only thing I could say with the multiple basically issues, and so it's like a handy they have something like that, but it wasn't easy to find them. There was a lot of issues that my adopted father, and I'm sure he has at the same time compliances with it as well, and who have caused a lot of problems, and then against me, and then I ended up finding them nowhere conveniently. Okay, actually, some lady from a previous place that I lived, she worked with the police, and I am a really um um well, okay, one, my privacy should be protected now, okay, and it has been violated. Secondly, it's like I would never really speak to anybody at the same time, strangers, and so all of that basically got like super exposed at the same time, and it was like super difficult. But anyhow, she ended up helping me to find people and stuff like that, or otherwise, I have no idea what they do. Like, there's lots of businesses everywhere, and I just feel like I'm not allowed to basically have any contact with them at the same time. And so based on my experiences, which is kind of unacceptably, for example, long, and basically that if somebody decides that they want to tell their story, they might not be able to finish it till they die. So that case, the podcast and people says ideas. Well, I sure don't lack any ideas. And none. I don't lack any at the same time. Okay, few hint I could give individuals, and I'm fine with it. Talk about it at the same time. Basically, abuse on podcasts, and there are many different views, and take your time reaching it at the same time. Basically, of course, by the American everything is creativity, creative out of material. So, and you're also using a language. Take your time on it. That basically all the types of like themes you want to talk about it, you can talk about it, obviously, um and abuse many different ways. Like I talked about a PTSD, you can talk about it every day about that and never finish it, because there's actually so many different people that have PTSD, and actually I've been a clever that I have studied about them and basically got so much information. Then I ended up basically using on a podcast, and I'm like, well, I can make another one. And yes, I could make a lot of podcasts about it in the case, reaching it every basically PTSD case that exists. I doubt I would be able to accomplish that much. So it does go beyond over it. Basically, me accomplishing it on my time, that many the PTSD videos for podcasting, which happens to be minus top that exists out there, just basically um not videotaped, for example, and in a ways that people have basically because they're very visual, like in like a background, and basically also like they're really also looking for something already, like Drew Barrymore or something, somebody where they like already like interested in it, and they're seeking basically at the same time like individuals already. So they have like all these interests, but easiest things you go with individuals with a podcast, and in my opinion, though you have a basically nice basically home, and then they're also interested in that. But that's the easiest way of going if you don't know any actors and stuff like that. And so I'm also aware of like things that what attracts basically individuals, and obviously I'm like pretty good at it with these type of the stuff, and I've been since I was a little child. So I got compliments about it a lot. And within lines of it, that everything I like, they like it. And then basically, I suppose I said I should get compliment in a taste more than like doing it, because a lot of the stuff, like top stuff that I like, but so I'm more admirer than I'm like doer, like as if I'm not the one who creates things that I like. by this morning, because obviously there is many different things that humans use it as basically their conditions to basically be like top. So like I'm not the one who creates these products or things that I would need it. So like this microphone, I'm not the one who created it. And so I'm not a creator. It's almost like obviously well, humans, they put themselves in shoe shoppers and basically and client categories or something. I mean, really, what else would we call it? At the same time, I'm not the one who created it. Products that are out there that is responsible for humans' conditions currently, but stuff like that, right? Anyhow, you can talk about any types of behavior when you talk about an individual with psychologically and stuff like that. And you should talk about that because that is actually what's gonna get bottom of the line. Like, what is your opinion? How is it correct? Why do you think somebody has PTSD? And example, if I was talking about is somebody having a PTSD, and basically, and somebody would be like, I'm accusing of them having PTSD. I gotta talk about their behavior and like example, they ended up fingering somebody. So that means they have PTSD. And well, if you look at it, that who ended up doing fingering, that person doesn't count as PTSD issue socially. When I looked at it socially, they want to disregard it, that it matters their mental issues. And they're upset about it that people will end up thinking they have PTSD. And including when they go to prison, it goes all the way there. They're like, they got psychological treatments, and then they're like, oh, they got PTSD, and that's sympathizing them. And they're like, that's disgusting. And society seems to be opposed to it that these prisoners should ever set it in there and have any assistance or any types of sympathy than the PTSD. And they are really harsh about it. That disregard them that basically they have a PTSD. And then basically in regular circumstances, it would be like they feel like a person who got fingered, a victim who will have the PTSD. And by saying that the PTSD, the one who fingered the victim has a PTSD, you're overlapping and now this PTSD, the practices, and they don't want it basically socially to do so. Okay, to separate it, the victim, and basically separated it, and the perpetrator. I can speak English, and a lot of the times I just like speak, and then it's like I don't know how to pronounce it. Um, and basically um so as you can see when you talk about it in the psychiatrical types of models, you want to be able to speak about it, that behavior, because you got to prove it, that how they have a PTSD. Now, additionally, just in a legal wise though, okay, you don't begin having illegal cases or basically have problems with like accusing of somebody fingering somebody with fantasies, and you can video chat at home and then charge somebody that or something. You need to bring obviously other evidence and have, for example, judge and other people obviously taking basically acts. It's not something that somebody can do that through their fantasies. Okay, so for example, obviously, that I do waste my time on a stating that maybe, or I mean, I don't know how to be other people in America who basically false everything. They some reason memorize everything false, and they some reason working on false comments. Okay, but for example, I don't know. I just think that's how it would work. At the same time, you will not be able to use your fantasies to basically talk about a finger on somebody and their pussy. Okay, you will have to do a court trial, bottom of the line, and you will obviously have other people there who will end up having assignments and do all other types of stuff. It's a time consuming and it's a worst things of it when it comes into human at the same time. It does kill the sex drive. It does eliminate people from it, doing their freedom. It does basically stress the humans, and it does basically violate their privacies and morals, and basically it puts them in tough situation and environmentally basically not the standards that you have basically and choice. However, regardless, everybody might not have good standards, most definitely going in a court and related to anything about it, getting arrested and charged and any types of legal battles, that would never be related to it. Just strictly top morals and basically top choices of things that people can do. Like example, you ended up rocking your baby infant for sleep. You ended up sleeping with your baby for naps, and you ended up cooking dinner for your family, and you ended up gardening in your house. Like maybe you grow some eggplant or you grow some cabbage and stuff like that. It will never be normal conditions, and Americans do a lot of things that are opposite from it, the normal conditions, bottom of the line. That's why they also believe it in the social opinions that they are basically damaged on it, lots of normalities based on abnormalities, and abnormality is not the same thing as normalities, and abnormality goes on a category of it, basically when something is interfering with the normalities. And so basically going back to PTSD, like I said, that obviously other video that I've spoken about it, but I said that I could make lots of podcasting about the PTSD. Based on it, there are many people who have suffered with the PTSD. There's lots of resources about PTSD, bunch of it. I looked at it and I would be able to actually talk about it, many different stories about the PTSD. Okay, so few hint I will give about it topics a lot of people like I gotta create a podcast and I need a theme, but I don't think that it would be difficult getting basically that theme. Okay, that TV's not working too well. um so freaking lazy, and even more than that, like I don't even know where the box is. No, I don't think I saved it. There is a they should have a warranty about it, but um no, it passed the date of warranty, but it has like all star things. And basically um so okay, so yeah, I don't think I think that most people will say that it's hard finding content, but but I don't think it is because all you have to do type in a computer at the same time. And what is podcasting? Topics. Okay, so you can go back basically there and basically pick a topic, and then you can go create in it your podcast. So I just think it's easy as that. Okay, so SSI, going back to SSI is microphone. So my adopted father's microphone. I'm like, I want that, and he ended up saying that, and oh my god, do I want that? And actually, a lot of the podcasts, and I also see different microphones, but I think I've seen exactly like his alike. It's a big microphone, middle thing, and then you plug it in the wall. I think it's easy thing like that. And so basically, he abuses me verbally and says, "Oh, you have nothing to say it." He says to me, giving me, for example, like absolutely, um, like creeps, and I just don't think that somebody basically that I would know in my life that basically speaks to me should be ever assaulting me, and it's like multiple times assault. I don't think that somebody should be. Every time he denies it and says at the same time things are exploding or whatever the word it is, I really don't care what American words mean at the same time. Okay? And so basically, I know that everybody understands it. That when you have, I know everybody understands that. Like you feel like you have the room to be as diluted as you want to be, because basically, when you have somebody that has done something that they actually don't have it, basically a credit as a human being, and so you're stuck with it. Perhaps the judge, obviously, and then their life. But for example, at the same time, regardless of it, at the same time, that even if like because a lot of his common things are as well, like I don't make any sense in English. So basically, that I don't I don't even really care, because like nobody basically ended up like using the English like same way as like basically they tricked me using English, for example, like basically over caring for them and overly doing things that they wanted to force on me to do. And nobody ended up using the English, for example, things like that, bottom of the line. Okay, so he just like repeatedly abusing me at the same time, and he denies it. No, I'm not abusing you, he says. And it's so annoying. If that didn't annoy somebody, my voice is not hard as well and great at the same time. Something like that. He probably behind my back like abuses me and humiliates me behind my back, even though like I'm not there. But when a therapy I've discussed it, it's like it happens behind your back, what happens front of your face. I'm like, actually, I thought it happened behind my back, but without thinking it, like other way around, had anything to do with it, happened in front of my face. And I'm like, it was such a like separate fantasies. Okay. Um, then basically, so it's weird like that one like a phrases or something stories I'm really like be like there's so much you pull out at the same time when it's like something happens behind your back, but then it's like basically you're not there, but then it's like you ended up having something happen in your face and you were there, and then basically how would you set it in there, know something that happens behind your back. Okay, is there any proof? Okay, also that my adopted mother does do things like that to hide things. She does end up being like, well, yeah, do you have a proof? And so basically, um, right now, I'll end up calling them my adopted parents, because of it. That I'm like, oh, why this went out? Perhaps it's not charged. Let me see. Would this charger work? I'm like, maybe my microphone, which I actually don't really know. Don't really have a clue if it is working, this microphone, regardless if it is green or not. But regardless, it did go out. So now it's charging. Not sure while it charges if it does work, but I'll just pretend if it is working. um because I think that I'm limited things that I could speak, and I will be able to basically not combine in it that legal things publicly, because I don't want, even if I could win, I don't want to be basically individual doing that, because I just prefer keeping everything separate and basically and stick with it, the matters basically like that. So yeah, claps for me and how genius I am. At the same time, when it comes into English and including basically associated things that should associate you with. And basically, okay, so um basically this I don't hang out with basically these people and stuff like that. And basically it's weird on Christmas he taxes me basically. My adopted father really unintended. I might have mentioned the prior video, which is like freaking almost 3 hours. So basically I legitimately was 3 hours already and basically destroyed, and in a time to even remember like how many things I mentioned in there and how many incidents. But regardless of it, um, basically, as you can see, like the English choices that I use, it's like perfect, like incident. You want to be able to use the at the same time locate in the like things that happen. And so, I mean, like I'm trying to be as convenient as possible. As I talked about a computer, not here, and it is went back to FedEx for fixing and my freaking PC computer. I don't know why. I mean, it just doesn't go on currently, but it was on before, and I was actually not using it. And couldn't figure out how to put a Wi-Fi in there, but I did eventually, and it's like now the power that doesn't turn the computer on. There's no warning why. That's done. Like I've sent the All Stars before. They dumped it back here with Boring Story, with massive boxes, chemicals, the reeked, legitimately taking me out of the door, and then mentally disrupted me because I'm like, it's unknown. It's unknown products that got delivered, and it's like chemically, basically rotten, and it's like disgusting and unexpected. I'm like, why didn't you just throw this? At the same time, some like Amazon type of ways, like box bubbles, and then send it. Like, what is this? This is outrageous. This was like as if not tempted to cause basically some huge chemical exposure. Like it was definitely. I mean, like legitimately I would have won at the same time some case with for example, where it's like crossing the lines of it, exposures, basically things that they did. I was not expecting that. That was absolutely just like everything else that since I've been in America, age 11, not expecting. Like Americans even using a bathroom. I mean, for example, not expecting a lot of stuff that Americans do. Not expecting it. Not like somebody showed me videos in my country about Americans using a bathroom. I mean, and trained me that way. And so it's just like not expecting it at all. Now, at the same time, my adopted family members, they constantly talk about it. People do get jealous, but I mean, they must have the same problems. And so that's why they don't like, for example, me talking. Oh, example. That's another thing I got abused yesterday, and hated on it. Stop using it. That example, um, and I'm like, okay, I usually don't like talking to people because basically they do not say things that make any sense, and topics are will be really made it up, and basically just so that they are basically proceeding on it like something that they wanted to talk about it, but it's like really useless. So I'm usually quiet, but when some situations they force me for talking, the example drops. Okay, like I really hate it, and so I also got abused with that, and and also I really don't think like talking is like really useful, and I don't really think it's the skill that is basically useful. I know that Zelensky has mentioned it, that he's multilingual spoker or speaker or something, or candidate. He's obviously a president as well. He is able to speak multi languages. I mean, as much as that he finds it handy for it, communicating basically people, and I understand for big, basically like social types of purposes. I mean like different levels of it. Okay, I find it that you know he's able to work with such a outrageous big, basically um basically messages that and for a country and people at the same time to plans and activate things, and it's like massive and for things like that. But personal levels of it, like if it was like his wife and who had to deal with speaking about it, Americans for their basically behaviors being manipulative and being basically liars and disgusting and very basically have a problems with the behaviors, and their piss smells for real badly as well. It reminds me of it after they speak about it at the end of the day. Yes, it does, and they're like animals, but if you're not gonna obey and that human standards, basically cannot swear, but you can basically go around um and um okay, so I'll leave that in the air. Okay. Rapists as well. Many different criminals exist. The rape is a difficult topic talking about it because I feel like it that majority of them accused of it for the rape. So it's a really difficult topic. But of course, one point I might talk about it, the rape, but I'm just want to use the situation like the authorities speak about it. The people are animals, and basically they're made of like borons and elements, and basically they're made out of water, and basically and bacteria, and then it's like when societies have built it basically ethically, they have ended up become it at the same time, not just this material thing. So their point is that based on all the rapes and based on all the types of behaviors that are disruptive and things like that, it really ruins basically lots of basically the human part of it, because human part of it is now not only the autonomy, and but it's also part of it like the ethic things, and basically I guess with bunch of angers and basically bunch of aggressions by the people who are basically mostly like involved in looking at the issues and problems and the human, that they're able to come up with those types of statements that what they have discovered, for example, stuff like that. But I discovered it too myself, and through them I've discovered that at the same time, like how some reason, like I feel like they look like dogs and stuff like that. And I ended up looking up why they look like dogs, and I guess they are related to it. That's why. But then I saw their videos, and it began making me more feel like back like a human, because otherwise I was not freaking sitting there feeling like one. They given me a little bit of ego after that, because I could now really believe that there are people who do basically find it that these behaviors like abnormal, and they do sit in there work on their lives, for example, resolving it. But even if I don't know them, it provided it like, but I don't know them, but I don't know them, and they are out there, for example, and somewhere, and they have these jobs and they're fancy, but regardless of it, that continues being a problem. I'm like, well, then basically another thing that my ego was used on it is that, okay, um basically they're bad people, okay, so basically what are my options? My options are using people against them, and so bottom of the line, okay. And basically, so it's just like there's always people against somebody and stuff like that. So like these police obviously and authorities, they constantly talk about it, perverted things. They talk about it basically things about them that are racist and racism and many different things, the reasons as well, the like details of that. Lots of the people, like it's so massive, like will never comprehended how big that is, okay. That is like really big topic. And basically and there's lots of like stuff, and they're like basically to talk about it, what happens, and those types of events. So anyhow, um I ended up um um, I don't go publicly with my adopted family members. I'll get on the topic quickly while all other topics are serious as podcasts and, for example, sessions basically needed and stuff like that. And basically, just like all types of psychology and all other types of communication that will require in there, and messages in there, and many other types of language. And again, I throw things in their stories as well, make a story, and our story is could be made already by other people's experiences, and so stuff like that. But quickly back in SSI, social security, I was like um basically hanging out with him, even though I was not even thinking hanging out, even though we did hang out, because it's like not something I do. I hang out with my adopted family members, and it's not something that I do. I'm by myself 24/7 at the same time, and basically he has my son, and he is basically um just disregarded, and he doesn't care about it at the same time. Basically that I'm by myself, and I remember. However, only thing he has done that closest thing that him thinking about it, me being by myself, is the one time, and it was really long time ago. I must have been like 21 or 22, 2010 maybe, and basically he ended up basically talking about it some person in the gym. I might have talked about it this, and basically say he has a lot of muscles and he's actually very attractive, and he just doesn't stop talking. At first I thought that he just made a friend at the gym, and I'm like, but it was odd because he's pacing back and forth and kitchen, and he will not stop talking about this person. And then I'll make the story short. Then he's like, whatever at the same time, and really aggressively at the same time, runs, slams the door, and leaves at the same time. Then at the same time, I wasn't unconscious about it, desire, and it basically, um, like I enter curse, and most definitely like as crazy as it, like desire and the true fantasies, but as crazy as is that George will. Oh, I said his name. Oh my god. Okay, stricken that I mean my adopted father will go around and find somebody for me to have intercourse with it. I assume that if you want to find me somebody to have intercourse with it, it would have been really odd because I went in a high school and in a relationship I got when I was 16. And so that case, he was affecting basically my relationship based on it, defaming me and abusing me. And at the same time, him as well, even though he should speak for himself, and I will not speak for himself, like I'm gonna be his speaker or something like that. For example, I'm not his lawyer whatsoever. And so basically, abusing me verbally, violence, stuff like that. And he has hit me, for example, several times, but he lied when I was 17 years old that I ended up hitting him, and I never ended up hitting him. My child's father was there. He wasn't a father at the time, and I want to go through the screen door and his house, that he still lives in the same house and he will not move, and I went underneath his shoulder or arm and basically went inside the house, and he's like, it's me, and it's so freaking gone around crazy, the sherbet. And he basically went and brought me to a hospital, Emerson's hospital, and basically, I don't know, lied, for example, stories in there and stuff like that. But obviously, for these people, it's like so complicated that you write it and make it basically records of it, these stories, and then ended up telling me as well. And I'm like freaking going around in English, for example, like, so somebody when they speak English, it's mostly yes or no, even though it would be yes or no, regardless. A lot of the times, Arizona, basically. I mean, there wasn't really choosing it basically through fantasies or something. Basically, this yes or no. There was no background of it, understanding it, like operations of it. This yes or no. So the English level was a lot of like what if people given a homework, you have to set it in there at the same time, or book, textbook, you copy, computers were back then at the same time, because I come from a different country that were not really disabilities in language easily caught up with it, how to use the computers. And so basically it was like textbooks and stuff like that, and basically sucked at it, obviously advancing it, basically English, and not only English, advancing it basically in like the life where somebody advances it, them as a human being based on their fantasies and based on the using it, basically this language as well, their head for their fantasies, which is, we will speak about it, the fantasy goes for them, about like another out of the planet things, and there are many different types of fantasies, but the regardless, basically, when you ended up having an intercourse with somebody, I mean, you ended up, for example, using a language for the at the same time to basically perhaps get there, but basically other people were supposed to make for me these types of plans themselves. And so that was a big huge basically in a human basically, and basically mind destroying, and it was huge basically, that like damage for a human like me, the human. Other humans obviously have their own basically minds for it, and a life and time for it, discuss on it, as basically everybody feels to discuss basically yourself, for example, about your basically existence, and basically, and I guess everything else that in America that could possibly be, you know, like and a witness and stuff like that. So I'm talking about me, and basically that so how many times I will repeat basically that English. The problem comes in and not only language changing it from another country, but including it that other details. When I'm age 11 years old, 11 years old children speak like 40-year-old American English, and then basically it would be put it on for me at the same time 20 some years delay on speaking that type of English, and still difficulties. Like I said, I still have difficulties pronouncing the spelling, and basically obviously it's not, it still doesn't feel basically convenient, and it sucks basically to have an accent. It sucks basically to basically have impairments related to it, that language, which in of course obviously they have the human basically the rights that you should not use any materialistical things basically against human at the same time, and basically it goes against basically the rules of it, where there is no basically opening for it, how basically creativities that should be basically used it against a human being. But this America does impact it, my identity, and it does impact basically completely for me, physically, environmentally, my autonomy at the same time. But in autonomy there are all types of the stuff that goes there. You ended up storing your life, you ended up communicating in a language at the same time, you use that language for it to communicate anything you want. And while some people might do great things with that language and use basically materials, basically achieving a very, very positive things, that basically other people in this country obviously ended up using it for this bunch of perverted, bunch of abuse, and bunch of basically just hacks based human standards, and basically mistreatments, accumulations. And does anybody want to add how gross it is, somebody, and then how they act? Just, for example, disgusting that they are. That's including additional problems in this country. Okay? And of course, the authorities want to be like them being sneaky and deceptive, the big part of it as well, and want to be saying in violence combination together that you're basically not able to see it. Okay, they want to add basically that type of it, opinions as well. Okay, meaning that, and another thing they want to add, their businesses, they have opportunities to work there, and basically, and they have no discrimination, civil rights, and many different things for it, basically gets access to it, properties and people, and where basically they are located. And they also want to add that part in it. But I'm like, well, many times when I have witnessed something, honestly, that it makes sense. The incidents that I'm complaining on, it makes sense. Like, oh, their addresses, blah blah blah, and blah blah. And I'm like, it makes sense, okay? But this was not something that I could find it a non-English speaker, age 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This was something I ended up, for example, by age 30, basically discovering it. Um, and online and stuff like that. So was not easy. Like every single word I have to sit in there studying in English. And so I went through a bunch of basically difficulties with that at the same time, and including it like feelings emotionally disruptions, like, oh, I gotta spell this, I gotta learn this, or I cannot send enough communication with somebody, or I'm not gonna be able to achieve it, for example, problem that I have in my life. So I went through a really lots of emotional basically disruptions. While my adopted mother is found saying that I have emotional issues, but she is found this perhaps stating that even when I'm a little child, and including it for people biggest surprises that she doesn't even chill with me. So why would she ended up speaking about it? I have emotional problems given the last time that I saw her, she was abusing me and bullying me, and basically also going through something about my computer and information, trying to hack information. So I mean her acts were not exactly basically top of it on a legal matters. So why would she go around based on the last incident that I saw her talk about me, that I have emotional issues? She went through my text messages when I was a teenager, like 16, which she basically told me in my face, and basically I'm being weird and talking about it. My pussy's wet to my child's father while I'm doing setups. And I was doing setups at the same time, yes. And it's weird because and my brain is so like misdirected, and basically and ended up basically somebody's fantasies impacting my self-image, and basically at the same time that I need to basically like I'm not good enough and I'm not working hard enough and I'm useless and stuff like that. I'm doing the sit-ups with like 15-pound weights to basically get that ups. But it just happened my child's father was talking about it at the same time being horny, and basically at the same time as me doing sit-ups. So text messages basically firm, for example, like that. She mentioned herself, it was firm basically like that. However, she wanted to humiliate me and shame me that she did so detox messages, and that was the point of it, mention about text messages. And um basically that she claimed it was her phone, and yes, but and I was vulnerable. I did not knew the stuff that I was doing, that what was the privacy. I did not knew what was harassment. I did not knew what abuses, and basically fact that she was old enough to comprehend these things. And so the bottom of the line with my story that I stick with it, that she was old enough to comprehend bullying, harassment, assaults at the same time, and not sitting there go through it at the same time. This even if means that you're violating somebody's privacy, and even if you mean the phone is yours. I mean, you should have not given me the phone as she was prior before the phone abusing me. So basically, the for provide more abuse, you should have not given me the phone to stop more abuse. But I guess the authorities laugh about it. Abusers don't work on a good ideas, so they don't. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, basically, I don't speak to basically my adopted parents, and they going back to where my adopted father hits me up on a Christmas. Oh, your brothers are here and they're opening a presents, but it was just really not a lot of details, and then about the history. And for example, so even if they're there and they're not my brothers, and basically you are referring them unwantedly as my brothers, and basically he does that intentionally, and basically force on me that they are my brothers, and basically that my adopted mother has stated it as well, that, oh, if you complain you're gonna be in so much trouble and blah blah blah, and forcing on me that basically like the ideas that people who I don't speak with it, I don't have anything to do with it. At the same time, any more than problems that they have created for me and stuff like that, that they are basically my mommy, my daddy, my brothers, and basically what about it? My uncle, my aunts, and all of these people, they obviously have basically um have not been contact, and in the therapy they say and that they are just as responsible harassments and they're just as responsible exposing me because basically these people were coming around my name, for example, as an individual, degrading me, and basically my adopted family members that they have a lots of things to do with this, and they are thinking that, oh, if they don't have any contact with you and stuff like that, then that means that all of this doesn't exist. And it's like, well, you don't exist and you're hidden that case, and you cannot ended up taking it basically reality and turn it into it doesn't exist. So you can basically and blah blah blah. And so basically for no swearing, we will just skip that. But yeah, it's just like one time and actually several times that I met their family members. It's like, this is your uncle, this is your aunt, and it's like I was like really best basically child and something like that. I would love to have it. My son even told me that my kids are more important than his kids, for example, having it as well. So I mean, it's very big deal. Type of the person basically that they adopted me as well, and the quality, and they ended up like not making the same sense, same qualities as they adopted me, and basically they were embarrassing me like being with them basically with other people when they adopted me from a Georgia. They ended up being basically like just like neuristic psychopaths basically, where they ended up, I'll name a few bad things, but at the same time if they will have it basically bad things to say about me, I'll end it up, for example, sure guaranteed at the same time repeated basically my basically the problems with it, them I'll have more to say in it repeatedly. But regardless, like somebody that told me that any day and every day we have no idea basically how many different assaults abuse they'll create. They have basically time, and for example past they constantly use and the denying it, and then basically in the future it's like there's so many things that basically they have options to basically do so. Okay, they're like, also, where's the proof that basically things that they say about you and defaming you, where's the proof of it? Like, how can you be responsible with somebody's thoughts? And I'm like, exactly, that's what my child's daddy has a problem. That's what all the rapist American has problems. That's what a military American soldiers at the same time who speak about victims, problems that they have about it, many of the people. And that's like really disgusting and basically triggering. And it's like something that, where it takes all the problems and just makes it bigger, where is a proof every American at the same time, every victims that they have impacted it. Where's the proof that your thoughts are real? Where is the proof of that? Okay, and so far as I'm concerned, that basically proof basically doesn't exist. I was many times legitimately at the same time grabbed based on it, my switcher or stuff, and pinched to basically go my room and punish, for example, at the same time when my English was like freaking gone around, like so freaking like couldn't even be responsible for it, like in the language that makes any sense. Okay, you cannot use it basically, and this one is perfect basically comparison. You cannot use a victim predator and predator being basically above the victim. You cannot use a 16 years old and 17 like they're same age. There is age difference. And basically you look at it this when I'm age 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17, 18, 19 and keep going, that it's like somebody who's older than me, legally they're responsible for it. basically their acts, because for example they've been doing it for a while, and basically they were introduced with these skills at the same time before somebody. But in my situation, that it is gets burned out of it as well, that me being victim, being adopted, and then fuck that I don't speak their language, and they are absolutely college graduates, then passed by college at the same time, like more than 15 years. And by the time basically I met them, and so much basically more time basically exists for them burning. And since the college graduates they've been, not to mention by this point, I don't care if they took ESL classes, that they are basically in the United States of America residents, and they are basically adults who ended up breaking the legal terms and legal basically ethics, and misusing the language. Okay, maybe not on everybody, because I'm not sure like a big thing about that, but like if they were committing a crimes and businesses, other people will charge them crimes and they'll get in a trouble. But most definitely I'm not speaking for other people, like Americans for example do, like lawyers about other victims. I'm speaking about it myself and my experiences, period. Okay. um think that I went too far explaining the abuse, and basically I want to keep it brief. I don't want to sit in there going it basically massive details. It's crunchy. Okay. And basically this SSI situation, a brush up on it, and basically resume it is that yesterday I go this SSI social security thing, and I was contacted by my adopted mother, basically that she will have him take me in there. I never requested it because basically I'm assuming I'm a lot of trouble, and basically and on I was like trusting, but I'm like basically owning them my money, but so much problems, and basically so I never requested it because of that. And so it was surprising, and then he does basically get me, but he ended up providing lots of abuse and the defamation publicly, and I don't go out and publicly with them at the same time. And basically when I do that, they provided silent treatments, they provided it basically, and other strangers like overly excessively talkative behaviors at the same time, which like something that I am, but they like it, but the things about them they don't, and it just like deletes a good time, the problem that it is. And basically they have also really affected it, my reputation, so most people don't want to speak to me, so it's a little bit harder at the same time to have conversations with the people. And so it's not fair as well, but they always have difficulty to speak with them, but a lot easier if they're defaming me, and then they're making themselves look like it, that there's a reason for somebody to end up speaking to them. So defamation, basically something that's massive publicly with them. And you go restaurants, they're looking at their plates, and again over talking for example people and waitresses. And you go in a tea station, and for example any person in there at the same time, they'll randomly end it up at the same time, basically act like it's their business what they're doing. They are like really alert and about it, other people's business and stuff like that. And basically, but they'll end up trying to intentionally avoid me, providing me a silent treatment, even though I like being silent and providing them that type of the treatment. And I have many times basically not speaking English and having anger, and I don't know what the hell to say in it. And basically, early on ages as well, that basically when you don't want to break basically like your behaviors badly, also will be like a type of the situations where you are stuck with it, just basically what you would be able to do because it's not something that you want to do. And basically, but they have ended up intentionally basically targeting me with defamations, with other people, and harassments with their family members, with strangers. And I remember one time I haven't been out with them publicly, but basically too many times. But one time, my adopted mother's getting me a phone. She ended up basically doing that when it's like not same thing as basically a justice and not same thing as somebody materialistically at the same time having their own stuff and basically being at the same time living their life and basically peace and a positive. But she goes on this phone store and basically gets me this phone and her wishes, and in the freaking customer was really at the same time like panicking about it, how his hair, I'm like, it's like black, and he's like, my hair is brown, and he's calling my kid's hair black. I'm like, my kid's hair is not black. And he's like, oh yes it is. I'm like, your hair is black, not my son's. And he's like, man, my hair is not black. And I'm like, basically very much like not buying it, his basically lies. But I mean, I don't see what I did basically abnormal. I'm like, your hair is black. And she goes up to him whispering things at the same time to him at the same time, okay? But for example, it could have been like, oh, I'm mentally impaired, I have problems with telling a color at the same time, or she adopted me from another country, and I'm just not processing basically things accurately in America. She's just a predator. And then basically this dude, well, he didn't change with his behavior. All he has is just aggressions against me. Whatever the hell she was whispering to him. Example behaviors like this, I don't support it. This type of behavior, somebody defaming me publicly, I don't support that. Okay. And basically that this SSI, so publicly I don't like being around with them. At the same time, I didn't like it since age 11 for basically defamations that obviously I didn't speak language and basically embarrassments. My biological mother was prettier than her, and it's just embarrassing. And not to mention, she had a bad reputation, basically in a Georgia. Then basically, my adopted mother has it, and basically that people that you do know it at the same time and what they're responsible doing it, it's a big criticize and basically deletions of it that human standards. And so basically that was always a problem. She would always use it basically money or something at the same time, be like, oh, I'm a big deal, and stuff like that. But you should not use money or anything more than a comfort. You should not use that for it, basically like impacting an individual emotionally and impacting them basically mentally degrading them, and if I'm not sure what English I'm pronouncing accurately, but slandering, and hopefully some of them I'm pronouncing it okay, and then other people speak good English, so I know for a fact that I'm just seeking basically really influence individuals, like, what, maybe mentally I will be able to overcome basically some of the stuff, because like the same way as like I said, like you will ended up once you come across information like this, you ended up using the stories for your process in your mind, and you could be like going through a lot of stuff, and you could also had many different things happen as well, and you probably could get some good basically effects mentally. You could probably get some good information and stuff like that. So basically, I mean, regardless, I know some other people definitely could speak really good English, and basically, so if I don't pronounce everything accurately, that I still know it could basically would and make it a fact or something like that. And so, bottom of the line, this so yeah, I don't see them, and basically, and I don't chill with them, and I don't want to chew. For example, defamations, basically, yes, like that they're not the only ones. Okay, problem is, and basically, there's a lot of people in America, like basically people present that they provide defamations as well, and yes, except like you can give them a middle finger. I mean, for example, it's a little bit too far with somebody who's supposed to, who adopted you, took you away from it. At the same time, your family, and then took you away from a country, the language that you ended up, for example, speaking, and basically deleting them. And then who seen you naked, seen your pussy, and who are basically jealous and basically target you at the same time after that, like violating you after that any terms basically of as human being when you're supposed to basically as a human being have like status and stuff like that. Okay, nobody has a right to see my pussy and then basically go violate me basically as a human being. That's a little bit too far. Okay, basically verbally abuse me and anything else, that's like disgusting. I mean, how could you possibly get along with somebody and live your life positive and positive standards if you're verbally abusing them? How could you possibly do that? And basically they do provide these reactions, and those reactions are really difficult for somebody like who's trying to live their life like Zelensky with high standards, with the, like for example, I'm happy when my wife is happy and I care about my wife basically in her safety, and you gather basically many things about it that is like your top basically like positive things. Most people want that. Okay, like you eat food, you clean your house, you cook, you bake. I mean, you do things for these positive things, but they ended up impacting that. They kill my food drive. At the same time, they ended up hurting my organs that basically usually are like tied. They tied my stomach at the same time, and basically impact the pain, for example, from it, like repeatedly basically talking about the problems. And basically they ended up using a restroom basically by talking. It's a difficult, and managing the drinking glass of water at the same time. Desires, they ended up, for example, destroying it at the same time. And the interest, because if you don't have a money, you can even go bowling, but like a lot of females walking around with it like bags like Gucci or things, and people went through it at the same time when they were something important when they were teenagers, and at the same time and get in a relationships, and people got married at the same time and things like this, and basically put in some big basically show in the United States of America. But I didn't ended up getting married, and I don't have that type of purses. Additionally, actually, I have a person around here, my past landlord. She decided, like crazy person, at the same time, be like, "Hey, you can have this." That's what I have actually. Okay, regardless, Americans and abusers and perpetrators, they always act like other people have more than me. That's exactly what my biological mother and her ex-boyfriend, who's dead, Malhazi, would be like making up things at the same time. And for example, even if you didn't have it as much as other people, it was like their fault because like they were abusive, and basically, and so basically, but it like even if you didn't have a lot of things, it didn't mean that people basically were not compassionate and they were not given, and they were basically doing the things that were basically disturbing them and abusing them or anything. So they should have provided it basically and a good time, and provided it respect, bottom of the line. But bottom of the line in America, at the same time, that there are people who resemble exactly my biological mother and her dead ex-boyfriend Malhazi. And when my country, they were the only ones, and basically my country having less than 4 million people, America having of something like 331.9 million people, and basically everybody resembles them, and basically everything else I heard resembles them, their traits, and it's disgusting, and it's cringy, and it's unsettling, basically because those people are not something ever on this planet that anybody should be. For one, um yes, Basically, I just feel like Americans feel like it, that if they're not the ones who are being abused and somebody ended up raping or abusing somebody else, they'll ended up going with that case at the same time being normal rather than basically like as if it did happen to them, and then they ended up basically um and being bothered by that. And I feel like how I feel like what Americans basically their personality is about it. My biological mother and her dead ex boyfriend Malhazi, who two people were not basically my country categorized normal. Yes, their reputation was basically not spread badly. And however, there were definitely bad behaviors, and basically there was just like no way in my country their behaviors were the normal, and that was the standards. Either way, it was outside from it the standards. Okay. Why were millions of people in America, maybe my other video I mentioned this and I'm mentioning again, were related to their traits, their behaviors, and their issues, which is very, very unacceptable. And it is really low, for example, human standards. It is really abusive as well. And basically behavior with the intending of it, malice, and for example, or something, but also to abuse somebody physically and emotionally, but you try abusing in America somebody emotionally to equal physical. You try like when you wanted to basically cause like big problems, but you are able to be like deprived by it something. So you try. That's one of the biggest abuse this country that exists. Okay. Now basically that okay, African Americans, they obviously experience based on their stories, ones that I have looked at, abuse, shame, and lots of stuff. Okay, yeah, they are usually number one race looked at it, experiencing this type of abuse. I do want to mention it, basically, that yes, they probably do experience it massively and highly, right? It makes sense that they experience and they abuse, abusive insults, and all other types of the behaviors by white people. They experience and highly, or whoever they are. I mean, maybe they're like mixed white, maybe their skin is tan, whatever. But bottom of the line is that obviously based on the African Americans that I have looked at it, they have basically, and the victims, then I will call them, that they have massively basically experiences with this type of the stuff, and as it's basically racially put it on it, one biggest problems that exist, yes, obviously, and I'm outside of their race, and basically, so I do want to separate the two things, and basically it happens basically abusing other races as well. But yes, I do want to basically in my fantasy saying it that obviously basically no way the hell they're going basically at the same time with their identities, many of these African American victims without experiencing it like massive abuse and stuff like that. Okay. And so basically, however, the some of the protections African Americans have is legal stuff. Some of the most abuse will happen domestically more than any other types of abuse, and so basically unless you committed crimes. So however, most types of abuse will be domestic abuse, or somebody who your boyfriend or your friend at the same time. And usually though it's a highly massively sexually basically sentence and stuff like that abuse. And then some are basically goes categories of it sexually abuse. It could go further. Mine has not sexually abused, but like just saying it, and it goes like everywhere. And the topics like who would be the one perpetrator and uncle, you name it. So basically that's like how it goes. And so basically that this this will be a brief basically podcast and because I cannot go in a detail speak in it. Basically it is basically cringy, it is disgusting. Of course I'm also eliminating and Christ to add the drama, and I don't want my makeup go in my eyes, that will stain sunscreen, foundations, multiple, and basically eyeshadows, mascara. I would be freaking going around really damaged currently, okay, if that went in my eyeballs, mascara on my eyebrows. I mean, it would be so crazy. So I do want to prevent that, and I don't want to go into it basically massive nargulences and more abuse and stuff like that on the topics because of it, limitations, reasons, and I do want to keep it separated, basically legal matters and basically separated it, associated and basically terms and stuff in English, basically podcasting and basically everywhere actually, like basically everywhere you can think of it, at jobs, babysitting, eating ice cream, going ice cream store, farm going, at the same time Disneyland visiting. Like as you see, every way of a parts of it. Basically, I want to be able to keep it titles and language associated in it and write correctly and stuff like that. Okay. Right now, I am actually basically thinking as well that I am putting on a massive accusations the English that I speak at the same time. That and maybe 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 at least. I've heard about it. Categorizes. I don't speak English. I am basically have a severe accent at the same time. My English don't make any sense at the same time. And then as stories goes, it's like basically not only abuse and defamations, but rather than somebody like you cannot just use vocabulary without basically a story. And yes, story goes that one time my adopted father and immediately I am near me on an emergency room and lady calls him or something, or he calls back or we call him, which one ever it was, and he ended up telling the lady that, for example, how does she know it that I have a symptoms that I have, and basically that I'm hyperlotic. I forgot the word and I don't know at the same time the word anymore. And basically that I'm determining in it that he's trying to basically use a fancy word for lying, and basically even though that no matter how fancy words for lying exist, that he will not have a proof of it, that how I'm lying, and basically to practice it, first of all, the lying, freedom of speech, for example, violations, defamations, harassments. For example, a defamation can provide somebody with a massive issues like losing their jobs and stuff like that. And he ends it up, for example, thinking that he needs all other charges. He needs abuse charges. He needs harassment charges. And basically, and I mean, what not? He thinks that he needs basically. I'm not sure what I revealed there. Um, basically, probably not good idea and stuff like that at all. I'm not sure what the hell I did reveal, but I don't think it's good idea. However, and basically that so basically defamation, it's a big problem. You charge somebody defamation, they will lose their job. And basically so basically when it comes into it using a language based on my adopted mother and a father, okay, they'll ended up using the language like I'll charge somebody defamation, they're defaming me. But for example, if I want to charge somebody defamation at the same time, it's like the defamation doesn't exist in the laws, so it's deleted. And I'll charge somebody abuse, but if I do, it's like you didn't get abused at the same time, so basically it gets abused back again repeatedly. For example, using the English that they use it, and it gets repeatedly targeted on me at the same time with abuse. And so basically somebody abused you and they abuse you again, and they just like basically picking it up again and again and abusing you again. And then if you want to send it in there and legally take it against them abusing you, they will end up abusing you again, that I am the one who's being abused and you're abusing me and you're yelling on me. And for example, at the same time, even if I said it, I'm whining, I'm yelling, at the same time, I'm angry, I want to kill myself, I want to kill somebody. These are something in a court will not change it, basically, at the same time, that they're crimes. But they think that basically it will because like they're like this is something abnormal, basically how you behave in it and how you behave in it's not same thing as basically spending money and it's not same thing as basically my rights. Judge said it in there, taking my side. And so somebody else basically, like if there was somebody to basically target me, say something negative about me, they'll ended up basically using and mocking me. At the same time, behaviors like that, and it's like a threat towards me, damaging my identity, my reputation. And they'll be like, oh, well, if basically you are like lower, for example, and on all categories that exist and basically they're using it these types of the behaviors. Okay, so they can end it up basically money use to spend it for themselves. Okay, and I can go around spend SSI money for stuff that it's not enough. Okay, and basically they can end it up using the money like their underwears, basically the A wear fancy, and B their private parts are basically at the same time greater importance than basically my private parts. And so basically through harassments and abuse and intimidations and stuff like that, and repeatedly basically mistreatments and harassments and basically dishonesty and abuse and repeatedly of these types of behaviors, it's like basically, hey, I'll go buy basically underwears and my underwear is better than her underwear. And after this would be like, dude, nobody cares about your underwear. Okay, and nobody cares about him. Maybe my son ended up messaging something. I cannot look at it currently, but I will. But anyhow, nobody cares about it. Basically, like you're freaking going around underwears, and it's like basically authorities will speak about it. These are acts. These are not about your underwear, and that will be eliminated. At the same time, disregard that the same ways of a you matter at the same time because legally there are parts of it basic consequences that you would have to face when it comes into legal stuff. My adopted mother is a lawyer at the same time, and however at the same time that I've seen judges on a YouTube cry back for it at the same time, and basically how they have depression, they want to suicide themselves, family they're losing it based on it, something they're getting in trouble for bottom of the line. I don't care about it. It has nothing to do with me, but I cannot picture it at the same time that them getting in trouble at the same time for any laws breaking it, that something like that they would basically deal with it, that type of problems conveniently, and then yeah, fuck that, it's a massive basically that issues that they created it, and they're like, oh, it's not in a computer, it cannot be forwarded to the judge. It's not in a basic dictionaries at the same time in Eteri's head, and basically her harassment cases, her abuse. My adopted mother has many times basically mentioned that how I claim everybody's abusing me and mistreating me at the same time, and basically negligence and mistreatments, and she has repeatedly made these statements. Okay, so all right, like again, I don't think rape is okay. All right, so I'll begin with that, and I would have to obviously not mention everything because it'll be too long. And so basically, why she has a right defaming me once again, repeatedly and repeatedly, and has a right speaking about me, that's something that don't make any sense. What I'm sitting there saying it, she will not be my lawyer. I mean, there she will not be my lawyer, but and I have this jury court thing that I have to do, but reminds me of it, that they have to ask me read or something, speak English to do this without them giving me any justice in my life at the same time, and they wanted me to send somebody in a prison when he hasn't done anything towards me at the same time, and they wanted me be honest. For example, how can I be honest about it at the same time when you're basically mistreated me, and you have, as the United States of America, caused me a lot of problems, and you have not called on want me at the same time justice, sending up perpetrators in a prison. You want me to do that for you instead. Who you think I am? I'm a judge or past the judge? I'm not a judge. Okay? Bottom of the line is that's ridiculous, but she has eliminated, deleted it, that they have mentioned it in a therapy. Basically, in American, like the standards, like where there's issues in American standards, you have many perpetrators at the same time that don't care about them. Okay, so you can only have people who care about it. But regardless, she's freaking one of them, and she tries to use it like, "Whoa, I have a money, and for example, and my house is clean, and Teresa's not." And so, for example, like I'm better than her, okay? And so basically, it is a little bit broader confusion. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world, and authorities have stated it. Why don't they end it up at the same time? A lot of bad people and perpetrators that exist in America, and if they had a power, why don't they use it? Basically, doing something about that. Why would it be so basically 1% and bias and targeting at 1%? Why would you feel like your grade is only 1%? Why would you at the same time feel that it's only 1% when in a country has a millions and millions of people that you will not even is this working? It goes green. You have a millions of people after they speak at the same time who do not basically and you just don't know basically their mental at the same time capacities, and just you don't know the people at the same time based on it, your data, and regardless at the same time you don't know at the same time the places at the same time that they are located, and you just have no clue. So basically, why 1%? It gets very complicated. Okay. So basically, usually, if somebody is by themselves abusing somebody, it'll be 1%. And I don't know how many people they have abused it, but basically, that's just, for example, something I'll add at the same time. And basically, obviously, the law enforcement individuals have basically wondered about it as well. The search warrant doesn't really exist about it. And so we just go basically as we go and charge like they say in it, basically them thanks. And once you have basically them committing a crime, you just basically say whatever, and you just proceed on all these basically like beliefs on them. Because at the end of the day, like they say, we're human beings, and we have this material things, and basically where it's fake and language at the same time, and beliefs where it's just like created it basically out of it, basically stories, and it's just no, it's not real anymore. But so we just go on like the like honestly, once the perpetrator gets charges legally and stuff like that, we just go on with all these beliefs honestly. So yeah, that's part of something judge as well accepts the freedom of the speech for a victim. Okay. And so basically, I'm trying to be like not reveal every details. I'm not sure what was the paper I was swimming. Papers on the floor. That's freaking got around unrealistic. And okay, abusers as well. They are many types of the behaviors and the stories that exist in the language usage. They ended up being like it's all your fault. My adopted father does that at the same time, and basically ended up as well basically being like you're unreasonable, but senseless, and the police did that, and basically previous in the land Massachusetts, the police department there did that. Chief, matter of the fact, he was a chief because chief was sent in there, and so yeah, he was like, "You being unreasonable," while he's like inside my apartment, and basically and barging in there, and I'm like, I'm not being unreasonable at the same time. For example, I'm being pretty reasonable at the same time. For example, I'm in a place at the same time that I don't even pay it at the same time, and people are abusing me at the same time, and I have nowhere to go at the same time. And you're barged in there, for example, in my freaking place when you have no right barging in it. This is not called unreasonable, okay? And so that was really basically problem with the abuse, and it was a problem with the human being standards and stuff like that. And I have basically have to basically overcome that, basically, which is obviously that, overcome that. Like right now, basically, I feel like that you know it provided such a massive anger at the same time that it could be like targeted my son. I could have stopped on his head, split it open. They have provided me so much problems, and it's been very difficult dealing with it at the same time since the point that stuff happened. Okay, my adopted father was involved in that incident as well, and basically somehow they contacted him, and I'm not sure exactly what was the purpose of it, because he is not charged of me, and they keep calling him basically my daddy, like I'm 3 years old at the same time. And I'm like that thinking in my head that this is big defamations. It's a defamations. It's a big, basically, violations of it. Basically, any types of degradations or denigrations or whatever freedom. It's depriving it, basically, individual rights and illegally. Okay, how is he my daddy? I mean, he was not ready to prove that. Okay, not to mention when you ended up calling somebody, okay, my daddy, when my daddy at the same time is not sitting in there making any sense at the same time, like pretending that he's my daddy, not making any sense. And then you ended up contacting my daddy when I don't even contact my daddy, okay? And you ended up contacting my daddy. I should just laugh because I should not basically get upset. Okay, people will get scared or something. So anyhow, I should just laugh about it. She basically adopted like this new habit or something. And so basically, this something he had something to do with it. They have contacted my adopted mother as well. She has something to do with it as well. But originally went from a landlords and their abuse, and basically then police comes, and then basically they were all like calibrated for this abuse and caused basically for me massive problems. Okay, and prior to that, I didn't have any problems. That besides basically most problems that were not recognized in English, and they were not basically recognized, and it was like basically mainly related to basically my adopted family members, and basically issues with my issues with like my growing up, like basically a little bit of it, like like a school experiences, not so much because of the people, but mainly like how I was impacted psychologically and cognitively developing it as a human and qualities, and impacted by moving from another country, and impacted basically at the same time just a language wise damaged, and all the type of the stuff that I had to go through. It was mainly related to the products like that. And basically then fuck that, I was living in a shelter because of my adopted family member and kicking me out. And basically, I mean, they kicked me out more than one time. And so I even ended up with a stranger's house. And it wasn't like I met him and then determined then it basically to that I wanted to move in his home or something like that. He didn't even have a home. He was renting a some crappy apartment that he hated his neighbors. And basically, and with my friend, that she and me and my kid had to walk in this person's home at the same time renting. He just didn't have basically stuff, and so basically because of them as well. So it wasn't first time, and so that was basically a big obviously problems with the defamation as well and stuff like that. And so there's probably lots of podcasts that needs to be made about it, defamations, abuse, and categories of it. Basically anything, rape and complaints and stuff, and businesses even at the same time. However, besides the social security at the same time comes in it, massive issues, and reassuming the issue. This thing is that my adopted father basically ended up taking me there, and my basically adopted mother requested him to do that supposedly, and he requested me to talk to her, and I said I haven't talked to her at the same time. So basically, if you can give her rundowns yourself, because obviously I haven't spoken to her, so it would be very difficult all this much information in cases how I would be able to basically translate her with that massive time, and basically will require usually associating it basically bunch of basically writing and bunch of referrals of things, and I'm like, I just don't know like who am I about basically that can achieve this. So I'm like, if it's convenient for you, you could contact her and basically explain to her what do you want to. She contacts me and she tells me that she will have him take me there. Okay, so I kind of had an idea. Basically, as I mentioned yesterday, SSI issue which had with my stocks, and he would send it in there, keep asking it why. For example, they will send it there, stop it, your SSI, and I'm like, well, I applied basically application. That's all I know. It 3 years later, they come for certification. 3 years. Okay, at the same time, and they come again, they ask about it application and all history of stuff. The people filed it and then they had it basically stuff, but I'm not sure how they resume it. However, they ended up asking me requesting stock documents and referring it to it. I received the income, and I'm like, I did not receive income, okay, by stocks. Like people receive income by interest, and basically receiving it like you sell a stock, like they think more money than basically it's worth it, and company you sell it or something. There wasn't anything like that, and I'm like, that is, for example, lie, and it is not money in a stock made. Then it probably did not make it any money, and yes, there is money. I lost it because I sold the stock for wrong price, but there is no money made on the stock. So I'm like, I had to print it out my stocks and ended up giving them like freaking 10, 15 pound papers about the stock on their request. Okay. I assume that I was concerned that since I have given them at the same time refund for a child support papers and a payments, that I assume I'm confused why I'm in a position basically with this. Okay, so I was concerned about it. At the same time, what they gonna say? They didn't receive the papers, and but however they went suspending it, and it was no word on it. Why they suspended it? SSI at the same time. So I knew exactly was related to some action with the stocks, but he would constantly interrupt me and saying it at the same time. For example, um, why were they ended up taking your SSI away, suspending it? There has to be a reason. I'm like, yes. Only thing I know is that they asked me for my stock account. Okay. And so anyhow, that because of basically him obviously not comprehending as detailedly as is SSI agency social security, and basically he prints for them, he prints something for him at the same time, and again it was mind-blowing because basically that I go in the restroom, take 30 seconds, and I come out and this dude is handing him all my information, and this dude avoids it at the same time me, and as if he's handing this to my adopted father, and basically he's handing him my stuff, my privacy. He has not heard about it at the same time, even though his attempt was embarrassing me, and basically being like, yeah, you don't matter, I'm speaking to my adopted father, him, and I'm gonna speak to him. And even though his situation is negligence, for example, towards basically his behavior, I'm like, that is my papers at the same time. And you are given to with somebody else. Okay. And that's exactly what he did. Okay. And I was unexpecting it, how that happened at the same time. Really had no idea what the hell he was gonna sit in there and say to him. But anyhow, so it was about the stocks as I thought, and basically this dude, ended up giving him these papers and information, basically with his face expressions like he accomplished something, which was obviously disgusting. And again, it's just like I thought my adopted father looked like a man qualities, but that dude sure freaking gone around looks 50 times worse than it. Like he basically with the qualities. Okay, so he proved that hey, if you were gonna use it in America at the same time, these determinations, measures of a man, like what type of men that they are, well, like you're gonna come across someone less and less, for example, perhaps because maybe it's your fantasy at the same time, okay? So that's something basically what I come across. He was probably in his 20s, but regardless, at the same time, that I think that first time I figure out that basically that, he's in his 20s, okay? And he acts badly, bottom of the line. And when it's like, and then I'm old, and I'm just old. I mean, it's no way of my life improving it at the same time at all. And basically, with old people, you have to be really basically careful because they are corrupt, and basically they are basically like have lots of impairments basically at the same time and run in their life. So you kind of have to be like really careful with that because obviously they'll usually behave worse than the younger people because younger people have a little bit more happiness. But yeah, like I definitely get basically triggered with things like that. Like this dude is in his 20s at the same time, and basically, and like, what is improving my life? I mean, he gets money at the job, he gets basically everything he wants at the same time, and basically what I get basically for myself, and basically fact that there's massive agent losses, and that agent losses SSI, for example, and social security will not set it in there, restore it, okay? And basically, big problems is the life, and basically boldly basically not restoring them and expirations, and basically combine, for example, together with that boldly basically the last 10 things, and basically time, and basically life, okay? These are the big problems, okay? He triggered the issue that he could have just been making sense and then basically try to avoid this, but he put me frozen, basically that as an old person, I have lots of wrong things and I could behave really badly, okay? And basically, at least like some of the ways I plan on behaving, if you're gonna complain, I'm gonna complain freaking going around trillion times more than you, and you're gonna shut the fuck up, okay? And whoops, okay, I'm so not deleting my video, okay? Only time I'm gonna swear, okay? And basically that so my you know motivation is that somebody be positive, and basically, and then if they want you me, then I want you them even worse. So that's my motivation, so I can get basically what I want. But if not at the same time, then they can go fuck themselves, and legally at the same time, and including their so-called characters and their personal life and family and all of that, okay? So any more than that, I apologize for my French. And just really degraded of a human quality at the same time. But it's gotta be used, for example, against basically perpetrators and individuals. Like, okay, not only I want to be like real, I don't want to be fake. So meaning that at the same time that so I will be practicing that as well. So basically, I want positivity in my life. So if somebody is basically causing me unhappiness, then I'm gonna cause them unhappiness. And some of the stuff I cannot mention it, obviously, but it doesn't make any sense. Somebody having the money and they can go basically and enjoy it and have intercourse, shop, basically have nice things in that house, have mortgages going on at the same time, and they can go have intercourse with anybody they want. And but some people at the same time, right? They don't have a house. They don't have basically as well. Basically, they have bodily injuries at the same time, and they like look at the Ukraine, the victims out of the how the people are basically missing body parts. Some people don't have things like that, and just for somebody to act like it, that you are basically have right, for example, to cause problems, for example, people, and basically, and with your intentions, but because in the Ukraine there's bunch of rapes, there's bunch of basically bombing, but all other aspects of it like intentions, what do you think that you have basically right for basically your acts and intentions, how you basically want to cause basically harassments, mistreatments for individual, okay? Now, again, the biggest problem with that one would be somebody obviously thinking they have control over somebody, like Americans, for example, individuals and the people in America, and millions of people are put as suspected by it. At the same time, many people that their behavior is that, and it is basically a behavior where they think that they can do what they want and control, for example, at the same time. And many men in this country thinking it that basically every female is, for example, exists for their control at the same time, which means they can have sex with it. Any female believe in that, and they can have any types of it. For example, identity that related to any conduct they want, even though it's a misconduct at the same time, and it doesn't make any sense. You're creating something that it is not written and giving you rights at the same time for you sexually assault somebody using your creativity hacks or something at the same time. Some female wants my dick, some female wants my fingers, their pussy, and any other basically hyper types of thoughts that they could possibly have, slash really freaking gone around fantasizing about it at the same time. That humans combinations of it basically hate, combinations of it masturbation fantasies, and combinations of it degrading practices. Okay, and Americans basically have this happening, and it just doesn't make any sense. American man with them, and any types of behaviors, any types of traits, any types of conduct, any types of mental minds basically they could process. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty expert with this and very expert, and anybody who wants to come out with it defend themselves, I mean, what are you gonna prove additionally about it, your identity? You're gonna brand everybody who you raped as basically your friends or something. Okay, and so bottom of the line is, what are you gonna prove? You think that you have no background at the same time? And so yeah, most people why do background, they don't have it. I mean, it doesn't even matter. You can even use their backgrounds additionally, because if it was already found, then why the hell would that matter at the same time? Okay, different case, because that's already related to it, something that already happened. Okay, and so you think I could not find something against American men, and aside from it, at the same time, everybody, I cannot find it, and basically information about it. For example, lots of Americans that you are basically committing a crime illegally, not obeying it. I'm not a lawyer, I've been told at the same time many times, though I should be. I would never dreamed about it being one, okay, without speaking language. Okay. However, like I said, that this is Americans, right? Thinking outside, because I'm not speaking to it, obviously, for real, right? Because I'm podcasting, but like outside the basically the world, okay? And that's what I would say in there, and basically call the speaking at the same time. They're dishonest Americans. They're dishonest American men. They're American men who are perpetrators at the same time. Combine their masturbations, combine their abuse at the same time, and their bad humorous behavior. Some of them can be malicious. There are different levels of it. Okay, other ones can be gross. Some can be all sexual, then abused mentally. Some can be like basically you can touch a floor, then you go finger somebody. Okay, at the same time, like that's gonna be like not abuse. Okay, you don't wash your hands at the same time while you ended up walking around it at the same time. Every freaking gone around society open, and then basically types of places that exist, and God knows what the hell you touched it, and there are absolutely endless of freaking of filth everywhere, and you don't practice human standards to wash your hands, and you go finger somebody, but you do it that intentionally, okay, as well. You don't know how to wash your hands. You think that, for example, 5-year old, for example, cannot wash hands, 5-year old, and that somebody finds acceptable? No, I don't think so. Okay, so that's for people who get fingers constantly, and basically as well, even and obeyed with any types of human standards at least, and intentionally at the same time. It's oppositely obeying human basically standards. Okay, so America, there are and a lot of men obviously who are basically sexual harassing, assaulting, and humiliating a females basically they ended up having an intercourse with the females at the same time, and they ended up basically damage reputation of another, and basically and they are using it basically mistreatments against other females because they know they can fuck one, so the other one they can go basically and basically like provide for them and issues. It doesn't matter basically you're being fancy or something like that, because they want to slender you and they want to be able to be like, oh, I'm already coming some other female, so basically why does it matter basically not a female. Okay, so they have that type of basically the behaviors. Now it gets exhausting. Every business, they're basically abuse and they're basically disloyalty and basically like their assaults and their hate. It gets exhausting, okay, in this country. Okay, how many of these people basically responsible for it slander and basically damage somebody's reputation. Even worse, so sad story. This has been happening since I'm age 11 and I come in the United States of America, and first abusers were my adopted parents, and it gets very embarrassing and even more sad and depressing because it begins as a child, not as age 30 or 40. Okay, and basically also that I will not complain the most, obviously, that I feel basically upset that my son basically is able to basically go through. I have to end the microphone, I think. My son